Welcome to the AutoCAD Architecture 2013 Roombook feature video. The Roombook feature allows you to calculate all the visible room surfaces and materials of walls, floors, ceilings, as well as the room perimeter and furniture on a per space basis. In this video, I'll show you how to work with the Roombook feature. You'll see how to define the calculation settings and the calculation standards. Calculate the quantities of a project. View and edit the calculated quantities. Export the calculation results. Edit the surface material styles and apply them to spaces. Save calculation styles. Display the quantity IDs. And create a schedule with the calculation results. Let's see how much plaster is needed to finish the interiors of this project. We'll start with defining the calculation settings and the calculation standard. It is important to define the settings and the calculation standard before you start the room quantity calculation. To calculate the room quantities, you'll need a drawing with existing spaces and 3D objects, where the spaces are bounded by walls or space bounding lines. On the Roombook tab, click Calculation Settings. In the dialog box, set the calculation standards to International. These are the settings that we'll use for all the calculations in this project. Let's calculate the walls and floor surfaces of this project. On the Roombook tab, click Calculate Room Quantities. In the Calculate Room Quantities dialog box, Calculation Range, clear all options except wall and floor surfaces. Click Calculate. A calculation is now performed based on the defined settings. Let's take a look at the results. Click View Edit Results, and in the Room Quantities dialog box, you can see the quantities per room, where the walls and floor areas are calculated for each room. View the results by selecting the room and the surfaces. Let's take a look at the total area for the walls, tagged as bath. In the calculated quantities, you can see the quantities for each wall and the room's total area, which is 23.5 square meters. If you need to add a surface, for example, the inner walls of this column, click Add Face. Select these faces and press Enter. You can see that the objects are now added into the calculation. This room has a false ceiling and a baseboard, which need to be taken into consideration before the calculation. Let's specify a wall height reduction to reflect the real area to be covered. Set the type to maximum object height and enter 0.35. The area to be covered is 21.1 square meters. Now let's export the results to a spreadsheet. In the Calculate Room Quantities dialog box, ensure that Microsoft Excel is the export format, and click Export. The results are now exported and displayed in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This is the kind of information you can share with your suppliers or colleagues. Since we've added 2 surfaces to this room, let's apply the same material to ensure the plaster calculation is accurate. We can achieve this by specifying another material to the surfaces. Click View Edit Results. Select the room bath and locate the surfaces that we've added to the calculation. Browse for materials, and from the list of materials in the drawing, select, click Add, and then click OK twice. If you export the file again, you'll notice that the amount of plaster is updated. Before closing this dialog, let's save this as a new calculation style. Click Save. Enter name and description. You can save different calculation styles with different settings in the drawing. Click Browse in the selection group. In the Spaces Zone selection dialog box, click Clear All, and then select Bath and Kitchen. Ensure that in the calculation range, all boxes are selected. This style will only calculate the quantities of these two spaces. Save the style with a new name and description. When you calculate, quantity IDs are generated and can be seen in the spreadsheet under column ID. But you can also display them in your drawing. Let's display the quantity IDs of the wall surfaces. In the calculation range, select only wall surfaces. Click Calculate and then click OK. On the ribbon, click Hide Show Quantity IDs to hide and show the IDs tags. You can only see the IDs of the kitchen and the bath spaces. If needed, reposition the tags and then plot the drawing to have a visual reference and help you identify the calculated quantities. The information we've gathered can also be exported to a schedule table. Let's create one for the entire project. Click Calculate Room Quantities. Ensure that all 5 spaces are selected. In the calculation range, select all surfaces. Select the Generate Finish ID per Material option and click Calculate. Now from the Roombook palette, select All Room Quantities Schedule. Select everything in the drawing and press Enter. Place the table on a side. You now have all the information on how much plaster is required for the rooms in this project. For more information about the Roombook feature, check the AutoCAD Architecture 2013 help.